Hey everyone, this is Mike with Real Dead. Hey, and last night my wife, my son, and I all went and saw Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. And man, this video right here is going to be non-spoilers at first, and then we're going to give you the spoilers. We will read the plot according to Rotten Tomatoes, and this thing got a 93 from the fans, people watching it, and a 55 so far the first weekend of the movie from the critics. So a huge gap there. We're going to tell you our opinion on it on the non-spoiler part, and then what we'd kind of score it. And then on the spoiler part of it, we'll go into more details. And of course, you've already heard our thoughts on it. But let's dive into this movie. So the movie info, according to Rotten Tomatoes, is the latest entry in the MonsterVerse franchise. Follows up the explosive showdown of Godzilla versus Kong with an all-new cinematic adventure, pitting the almighty Kong and the fearsome Godzilla against a colossal undiscovered threat hidden within our world, challenging their very existence and our own. The new epic film will delve further into the histories of these titans, their origins, and the mysteries of Skull Island and beyond, while uncovering the mythic battle that helped forge these extraordinary beings and tied them to humankind forever. It is PG-13. It does have creature violence and action. You don't have to worry about sex or anything on that in this movie. There's a little flirting going back and forth, but nothing, nothing said at all in it. So, what do we think about this movie and our thoughts on it? So, right off the bat, if you have followed these movies in the past and you're a fan of the movies in the past, this kind of monster verse, the Monarch series, I think you're going to like this movie. Now, if you watch it at home or versus you go see it at the theater, that's going to be up to you. We saw it in 3D and IMAX, and it cost a lot of money, $25 a person. But man, was it great. I have not seen a 3D movie in years, and the 3D effects were great. The whole island that they're on, and then the center of the Hollow Earth. It was the if you're kind of wheezy about heights and stuff like that, you may not like it, but man, the 3D effects are great, and I didn't realize 3D was that great nowadays. But it's the first movie I've probably seen in 3, 4, 5 years that was 3D. Awesome to see that, and the IMAX, of course, is going to be great with all the battles. The movie starts out a little bit slow, in my opinion. It's almost 2 hours long, hour and 55 minutes to be exact, and the first 30 minutes is kind of a little bit slow. You do get to see Kong right off the bat. I will say this movie shows a lot more Kong than it does Godzilla. I don't know the actual minutes for Kong versus Godzilla, but it's more favored towards King Kong, in my opinion, on this. So just a heads up on that. If you're a diehard Godzilla fan and don't really like Kong, you still get your Godzilla in here, and he's a badass. The fighting is great. The scenes are great. The storyline is a little it's a little suspect. It could have been a lot better. I will admit that. I've seen some people give their opinions on this movie, and they're like, the critics are giving this a 55, and then the fans are giving it a 93. I think because this first weekend, the people that really like these type movies are going to go see it, and they're going to love it. And the critics that are trying to go with the best movie of the year, Academy Award winner, they're going to say, "Hey, this sucks." I can hear them saying that now, but in my opinion, it's worth it if you like this series. I would go see it in the movie theater in IMAX and 3D if the 3D doesn't bother you, because I think it's worth it, in my opinion. It was for us, our family. My wife normally doesn't even go to the movies, and she enjoyed it. She thought it was entertaining. And then the whole storyline, this is a spoiler free. You kind of know a little bit more about Skull Island, about the center Earth, about the Titans. You find out more about that, the Iwi tribe. I think it's called the Iwi tribe. I think it's IWI or something to that effect. But yeah, you find a little bit more back history. And one thing I can say in this movie that I love, and it's not really a spoiler, is in this movie, there is a lot of communication without sound, without words. Of course, they're creatures, right? But you see the kind of human element that's in the animals, the apes, and in Godzilla and the other creatures without saying anything. The beating of the chest, the pointing, the shrugging, the facial, um, the size and stuff like that. You just see it. That's one thing I loved about this movie, because there's some stretches of this movie it feels like it's a couple 2 or 3 minutes long, and there's not a word spoken. There's no commentary going on at all. You just see the relationship between Kong, and you'll see there's like a little orangutan, I think, type little ape that Kong ends up hooking up with. That's not too much of a spoiler. I'm not going to tell you more about it, but let me tell you my thought on this. So, long story short, on a scale of 1 to 10, and we know that 93 is what the audience is saying, 55 is what the critics are saying. I'm going to give this a 6.5 to 7, probably a C plus to C minus, about average. But the fight scenes are killer. I will say that. I think it's worth going to see just for the fight scenes. Probably the last 45 minutes in the movie is pretty wide open. The first 30 to 45 is it's a little bit slow, but it tells you a lot of the backstory on it. So that is it for the spoiler free part of this. Also, they got the souvenir cups and stuff at the theater. We went to Regal Cinema, first time we'd ever been there, and they had the tin popcorn bucket and a plastic cup with the Kong on top of it. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, get your souvenir stuff as well if you go. It is expensive though. It was $30 for a large popcorn. It was actually probably above a large popcorn, a big old bucket, and a large drink. But you did get the souvenir cups as well. So now the spoiler part of this, I'm going to read off on this the number of monsters that are in this. This thing has a lot of monsters in it. So let me go ahead and tell you all the monsters. Um, Godzilla, of course, Kong, Mothra, Scar King, and I'm probably going to butcher some of these names because they're probably Japanese. Shimo, Suko, Scala, Tiamat. Um, you got Titanius Kong Tribe. You got Left Wings, Warbats, Hellhawks, Hollow Earth Lizard, verticines, wart dogs, parrot frogs, unidentified eel-like creature. You got other titans, and you got Ghidorah and Mecha Godzilla, which we'd already kind of mentioned that already. Um, so this thing also, let me kind of give you a little bit of synopsis of the movie, and this is the spoiler part of it. So again, alarm spoilers right here. Um, so you got Andrews and her daughter. She was the one in, I think it was back in Skull Island, maybe the one after that. But uh, Kong is in, he's in his world. Then you got the center, Hollow Earth. There's another dimension there, and that's where these other tribes of apes are. And Kong's been looking for, that's what he keeps looking for. He keeps looking for fellow apes and, someone like him. And in the center of this earth, there's this Scar. I think he's called the Scar King, or what did I just say earlier? Yeah, Scar King. And he's like a big orangutan, and he's got this big like whip thing, and I can't remember the name of the beast that he has, but it looks like another Godzilla, except it's kind of like a whitish color. He's captured. I mean, he's got that thing chained down, and he's controlling it by this like little like prism thing, and so he's ruling the center Earth with the apes, and he's just ruling it. The Scar King is. So he comes up and then wipes out the Monarch station that's been there forever. The whole time, the family, the daughter, and the people working there are getting these signals telling them to something like a SOS. So that's kind of how the movie starts out. It's a little bit slow at the beginning of it, the first 30, 45 minutes. Again, it is an hour and 55 minutes because you're kind of getting the backstory on that. You do see Kong in that time period. You do see Godzilla. He's sleeping in the Coliseum. But yeah, it's starts out a little bit slow. Then they start, Kong needs to have a dental work done. So he comes up through these portal holes are like all over the world, and then they'll show the name of where this is at, like Barbados, or it may be like, I'm just saying, Jamaica, or wherever it was. All of them, I can't remember it off the top of my head. But these portals are all over, but Kong comes up, gets some dental work done, goes back down. But again, Kong's looking for his fellow species, and that's what he's like doing the whole time. Uh, and long story short, I'm going to kind of summarize this. There becomes epic battle at the very end with all these. I mean, you got Mothra coming in back, you got Kong, you got Scar King, you got Godzilla is trying to build power up and get all this like nuclear energy power the whole time. And Godzilla's fighting some of these other monsters. I think it hits Tiamat. Tiamat, I probably butchered the name of that. Like in Antarctica, but then there's a battle finally towards the end of it. There's a battle between Godzilla and King Kong again. Yeah, those two don't like each other. They hate each other. But Godzilla's up on Earth, above Earth, and Kong is down below. So that's why they kind of get along because they're separated that way. But Kong has to go up. Kong gets his butt whooped pretty good, messes up his right arm. They put this like bionic arm thing on him, which is kind of cool. I know it sounds cheesy, but he's a BA after that, and then turns around and he has to go up and get Godzilla to try to come help him out because you got Scar King, you got this other creature that Scar King is riding, and he's wanting to come and wipe them out. And so they go up and they battle. Kong and Godzilla get into a great battle again. And then finally, they both go down into the portal, down into the center Earth. It's pretty complicated. I'm not going to go into details when you see the movie. But you find out the Iwi people, I think it's the Iwi people, IWA or something like that. Gia, the daughter, the lone survivor of that tribe, she's being called back because she has to help Mothra come out. And Mothra gets Godzilla and Kong to team up against Scar King, all his apes that he's kind of got control over, a tribe of them, and then also the Godzilla looking thing that he's riding. So they had this epic battle. Man, they're kicking butt. All of them are, they all got their kind of moment where they're shining in the light, where they're, whipping the other one's butt. Long story short, it comes out that the prism that I mentioned earlier in the non-spoiler part of it, that it gets destroyed by the little orangutan or little ape. It's kind of been there the whole time. And that thing at first was trying to set Kong up. And then he actually becomes a buddy with Kong, and Kong kind of takes him in. So the little thing destroys that prism. And then after that, after destroying the prism, they become a team. So then you got the creature that was being ridden by the Scar King. He's on the side of Godzilla and King Kong, and then they destroy Scar King. They freeze him, and then King Kong picks him up over his head and then just smashes him down, freezes him, and destroys him to a million pieces. And then the small little ape, and the freed Godzilla looking thing, I can't remember his name. What is it? Shimo? Maybe that's the name of it. Suko? I don't know. They go back down. They go to the center where all the apes are at. And then Kong holds his arm up high. He's got that big bionic arm. He holds it up high, and he's holding up the hands of the little bitty ape, the little orangutan looking thing with him. And then all the other apes go crazy because, they're like, hey, this is our new king. So Kong again is king of the apes, and he's back with his people again. So really good movie overall. Let me back up. Maybe not a really great movie, but if you like these type movies, you're going to enjoy it. Listen, I don't go to these movies to see an Academy Award winning movie. I go to it to pull for the creatures. And here I'm getting a pull for the MonsterVerse. I'm getting a pull for Godzilla. I'm getting a pull for Mothra. I'm getting a pull for King Kong. And eventually I'm pulling for this other Godzilla looking thing too. So that's the kind of movie this is, man. It's a fun movie. Don't take it serious. Don't take it like, well, it's not as good as Godzilla 1. We all get that. But you're not going to go to the movie to see this movie for that anyway. And I know people say, well, you're dumbing down and you're paying for it. Yeah, I had a good time. It was entertaining. That was the whole purpose of it, to have a good time and cheer on these creatures and see some awesome 3D effects. And the IMAX was awesome as well. So tell us what you think. Is this one you'll go check out, or are you going to wait till it comes out? If you wait for it to come out, it'd probably be all right without the 3D. But hey, crank up that sound bar, man, because there's some really good fighting in it. And some of the screaming and the yells out from Kong and Godzilla are awesome in it. So thank you, guys. This is Mike again with Real Dead. Please like, comment, subscribe to our channel. Normally we do strictly only horror movies, but this one got into a little bit of sci-fi and the monster verse as well with Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Have a good one.